The Trump rampage does not stop, though. He dropped another nuke, all right? He dropped one on the fake news media and then decided to just randomly call into Fox News. All right, so first, the fake news media has lost total credibility, not that they ever had any to begin with, because of the massive Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. They love saying that Iran is winning, when in fact everyone knows they are losing, and losing big. Their Navy's gone, Air Force gone, anti-aircraft apparatus non-existent, radar dead, missile drone factories largely obliterated, along with missiles and drones, and themselves, and most importantly, their longtime leaders are no longer with us. Praise be to Allah. Oh my God, Tucker Carlson's gonna lose his mind. No, you're not allowed to insult Islam. The only thing they have going is the threat that a ship may bunk into one of their sea mines, which, by the way, all 28 of their mine dropper boats are also lying at the bottom of the sea. We're now starting a process clearing up the Strait of Hormuz as a favor to countries all around the world, including China, Japan, South Korea, France, Germany, and many others. Incredibly, they don't have the courage or will to do this work themselves. Very interestingly, however, empty oil-carrying ships from many nations are, all heading to the United States of America to load up with oil. Especially awesome because we recently just got a ton of oil from Venezuela. Wow, it's almost like this was all part of a giant plan. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump, bro. Bro, the panicans are eating poorly tonight. So Donald Trump calls into Fox News and he just goes haywire.
Well, we're going to be blockading. It'll take a little while, but it'll be effective pretty soon.
The blockade,
and we had meetings yesterday. They, as you said, lasted 21 hours. That was a long meeting. We had some very, very good representatives, as you know, JD and Steve and Jared. So we were well represented, but we didn't get there on the important issue. They want to have nuclear weapons. They're not going to have nuclear weapons. I've been saying.
But I was told by Candace Owens that they weren't even trying to get nuclear weapons, and they just opposed Zionism or something.
That for 30 years, I would never allow that to happen before I was in politics.
True.
And that country will not have nuclear weapons. Most countries shouldn't be allowed to have, but that country will not have nuclear.
I actually think no country should be allowed to have nuclear weapons except for ours. I think we should be the only ones with nuclear weapons. Go cry about international law then. But anyway, that's a discussion for another time. That's a discussion for a later date. Yeah, I'm something of an American supremacist, some would say.
Well, they reacted. You know, it was very interesting. It started off weak. They came in like they had the cards, but they don't have the cards.
They came in. They made believe they had the cards. They really think that, you know, like this is literally how Iran really thought they were going to walk into this meeting. It's like, oh yeah, you really think you're going to dictate how this is going to go? Loads gun, points it at Europe. I'm going to shoot them. I'm going to shoot them by crippling the Straight of Hormuz. Oh, yeah? You wouldn't want me to shoot a French guy, would you?
Is their army, is their whole...
Fucking J.D. Vance. Shoot a French guy. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Obviously, I'm kidding. Iran would never shoot at a random Frenchman. They don't want to hit a Muslim.
Military is obliterated. The whole place is obliterated. And, you know, as you know, levels of leaders are gone. They're literally gone.
Generations of
Khomeini's
leaders.
Gone. The whole thing is gone. The whole place is gone.
God.
They have one thing that they can do. They can say, well, gee, we're going to put a mine someplace just a mine. We'll drop 1 mine, 2 mines, 10 mines. And that will, if you have a ship that costs $1 billion, you say, well, you know, I'd prefer not getting whacked by a mine, losing my ship or damaging it badly, at least. And so that's a little bit of a thing that they can do. That it's military might and military power don't do it, but, you know, it's extortion. And they're extorting the world. You know, we don't get our oil from there.
It's acts of terror. It's really acts of terror. And the fact that the entire United Nations isn't clamping down on this and obliterating them for this altogether it just shows how compromised they actually are. I really think this is a mask off moment. It's like these people will condemn us for literally fucking anything. But then you have, you know, Iran deciding to be like, oh, well, don't worry. I just have an ace in the hole. I'm just going to obliterate random European boats. Just to fuck with people, right? And hopefully Trump will decide to stop attacking us if we just fuck with his friends. Well, it's actually acts of terror. It is violation of every form of international law. But again, no one actually cares when they violate the international law. They only care when we violate the international law.
So much we have, and one thing you said, I don't know if anybody heard it well, but we have votes pouring up to the United States. They'll be filling them up, and they'll be leaving, and
That's
they're going to
right.
be packed with the best oil you can
Best
get,
oil.
light, sweet crude.
Right from Venezuela. Did you hear about what happened there, by the way?
They're going to have the best oil that you can get, But so that's interesting, and it's great because we have a lot of oil. We don't get any. I mean, literally last year it was 1%. We did that as a favor. We don't need the Strait. But other countries do. And I will tell you, while we're on this...
Bro, this blockade is fucking genius. I can't believe he thought of this, to be honest. Well, that's diabolical, man. Like, because he was talking about opening the Strait. I think he was doing that to make Iran feel like that that this was their ultimate checkmate. This was Iran's ultimate ace in the hole. They could close the Strait and commit an unbridled act of terror, and no one could do anything about it. And they'll drop mines in, and they'll make the Strait literally unusable. And then Trump will be like, "You made the Strait unusable. I can't believe it. We're gonna have to make a blockade," and completely and utterly cripple Iran and reroute the entire world energy economy to the United States. Like, a lot of people were saying, I can't believe Trump didn't think about the fact that Iran would commit acts of terror on the Strait of Hormuz before the war started. Oh, of course he did. I think this was very highly likely that this was planned from the get-go. This was certainly the plan of the ceasefire.
Subject, we're very disappointed with NATO. We're very, very disappointed that they didn't come. Now they want to come and they want to help with the Strait, and it won't take long to clean it out. So we're going to clean out the Strait, and they'll be able to use the Strait in not too long a distance. But we had a very intensive negotiation, and toward the end it got very friendly, and we got just about every point.
It was very friendly, and then they said, yeah, but we're still going to have nukes. It was like, oh, well, you're not going to have a country.
We needed, except for the fact that they refused to give up their nuclear ambition, that's the only point, frankly, to me. That was the most important point.
Yeah, I don't think Trump would even trust them. Even if they said we won't make nukes, I don't think Trump is going to trust them. Which is why I think Trump added stuff like, you have to give us your already enriched uranium. You can never enrich uranium. Like, kind of red herrings in order to make them not agree to the deal. I think so. That's my game theory here. But anyway, Trump keeps going. I gathered all the best moments of this interview. He ended up yapping there for like 40 minutes, but I got all the best moments.
Tell us what you're trying to accomplish with this blockade, sir.
All out. Yep. It's called all in and all out. There'll be a time when we'll have them all come in and all come out. But it won't be a percentage. It won't be a friend of yours, like a country that's your ally or a country that's your friend. It's all
China. You don't want China funding Iran while we're at war with Iran. We want Iran to be absolutely devastated so that they capitulate on literally everything.
Or nothing. And that'll be that won't be in too long a distance. No, we're just bringing the ships up. We got a lot of ships, so we're bringing them up. We think that numerous countries are going to be helping us with this also, but we're putting on a complete blockade. We're not going to let Iran make money on selling oil to people that they like and not people that they don't like or whatever it is. It's going to be all or none, and that's the way it is.
It's not going to be like, oh, Iran's like, oh, we're just going to commit acts of terror on, like, America. No. Actually, no, you won't. Oh, actually, no, you won't. And you want to know the craziest part? You could be rested assured that the Chinese government is right now pressuring the fuck out of Iran to capitulate on everything. You know, China, one of their longstanding partners, is now getting oil, a lot more expensive oil from us, the United States of America, instead of the cheap shit they've been getting from Iran. And the reality is, they are going to be pressuring Iran to stop this conflict immediately and give up everything.
And it'll be, you saw what we did with Venezuela. It'll be something very similar to that, but
something similar to that, complete and utter W. No, this is a crazy fafo, bro.
Key point, Mr. President, for those people out there who have not been following it as closely, can you explain to those people why it was critical for the United States to go into Iran? Can you articulate what was behind that move that was so important?
The media keeps saying this because it's like, oh, we don't even know why we're at war with Iran, which is like actually retarded conversation level. Like, this is troglodyte level IQ.
U.S. to go into Iran.
Yeah, so easy. The easiest question you've asked me so far. They can't have nuclear weapons. They have nuclear. They want to enrich what they have. They want to enrich more. As you know, we knocked out with the B-2 bombers. Had we not knocked that out, they would have had a nuclear weapon within 1 month after we knocked out. In other words, had the B-2s, those beautiful B-2 bombers, totally obliterated their 3 sites. They have 3 sites. And they are now deep in the earth with, tons of rock. Now, that material should be gotten, but we have cameras on it. We have satellites with Space Force. That was one of my beauties, Space Force. So important. But we're watching those. We're watching every single aspect of that area. They can't move without us knowing exactly what's going on. But but it's deep down, and it take a long time to get it out. It's an amazing attack. Had we not done that, they would have had, within 1 month from that date, they would have had a nuclear weapon.
Right.
If they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it on Israel and the Middle East. Look, they went after 5 countries that were sort of neutral, I guess. I don't know how friendly they were, but they weren't in the line of attack. They dropped on UAE probably 1,800 missiles. They dropped on Saudi Arabia a lot, and they dropped on Qatar a lot. They dropped on Bahrain. They went crazy, and everyone was surprised.
It's almost like they're terrorists or something.
Actually, it was good for us because they all joined us immediately. At some point. I mean, they're either going to be petrified or they're going to join. They all joined, and they've been very helpful. All of these countries have been great, and Kuwait.
And this is the key point that I was getting to, and the reason that you feel they cannot have a nuclear weapon because they will use it. And that's what I wanted you to explain to the audience.
Yeah, I think they would use it. And they'd start with Israel, and one weapon would, do damage like nobody's ever seen. Wipe it out, conceivably, big one.
Now,
wipe it out. They don't need more than one. And then they go after the Middle East, and then they'd eventually come here.
Correct. I mean, look, man, it's literally in their charter. They chant death to Israel, death to America. Israel is the little Satan. America is the big Satan. Like, this is their goal. They view Israel as the Jews, and they view America as the Christians. And as it says in the Quran, Jews and Christians are the lowest of creatures. And in the end times, all the Jews and all the Christians need to be obliterated and subjugated in order for Islam to actually conquer the world. This is literally their apocalyptic vision of the world. It would not end with anyone. But it's very obvious that you can't let these motherfuckers have nukes. It's just so obvious.
For years, I've had to listen to them say, death to America, right?
I love how Donald Trump says, we're going to end in civilization. Everyone loses their mind. These guys chant death to America as a policy, right? In fact, to quote Khomeini, he said, death to America isn't a slogan, it's a policy, all right? And dead silence, and it's like, oh, these guys were actually probably really nice. You just don't understand their culture.
They say, death to America, death to Israel, America, the Satan. We will destroy America, death to America. Now, does anybody ever complain to you when they say that? I think that's a big step worse. Death to America. So they're allowed to say death to America. And what I'm referring to is, when I talk about civilization, it'll be much different because their military will be totally gone. It's pretty much gone now. But their military, look at their leadership. We have had regime change because the people we dealt with yesterday were, frankly, very smart, very sharp, very good, very good. I think they were smarter than the people from before, Khomeini and that group. Because look what it got them. Look what all of their antics was spending they spent all their money on weapons. We've destroyed most of those weapons.
Bozos.
When I say about a civilization, it really has changed. It really has. But think of it. They're allowed to say death to America, death to this, death to... And I make one statement, they say, oh, such a big deal. Let me tell you, that statement got them to the bargaining table.
True. And exactly. This is what I've been saying the entire time. All right, Trump says, if you don't make a deal, we'll end the civilization. Everyone loses their mind. Trump is genocidal. Impeach him. 25th Amendment. Get rid of him. Everyone said this. All right, and my guy, he made a fucking tweet, and then immediately Iran capitulated, and then they started having negotiations. Like, you have got to be fucking retarded. Like, if you think that tweet is some sort of war crime. It's a fucking tweet.
They haven't left. They haven't left the bargaining table. I predict they come back and they give us everything we want. And I told my people, I want everything. I don't want 90%. I don't want 95%. I told them, I want everything.
Well, and what they
have no cards. Maria.
Yep.
They have no cards. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Totally gone. They have nothing. They have no ships. 158 ships are at the bottom of the sea. Good ones. New.
Not anymore.
The Soleimani, they had one called the Soleimani, was taken out by one of our Tiger Sharks, by one of our rapidly moving submarines. It's amazing. Our military is so good. Do you know our military is a 94% approval rating now? Well, Congress has a 14%.
Then you got 6%, which is like radical leftists that would rather us just kill ourselves.
The media has a 12%. When I started, the media had a 92% approval rating. Now they're down to 14%.
Wow.
And I'm very proud of it because they're very dishonest.
Lois just tells that to the media. Hello, media. Everyone hates you. True, by the way. True.
At us one day at a certain asset that we have, namely the aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln, one of the beauties of the world, one of the great beauties of the world. They fired 101 missiles out of 100. These things are going 2,000, more than 2,000 miles an hour. And out of 101 missiles, 101 were shot down like nothing and are now at the bottom of the sea, the remnants of them.
Thank God.
Think of it, 101 missiles shot in a short period of time. All.
Thank you, God, for making our enemies retarded goat fuckers that are absolutely and utterly overwhelmed by our military might.
101 were knocked out. So we have the greatest military equipment. We have the greatest people. We have the strongest military in the world by far, and everybody sees it, whether it's Venezuela or what we've done with Iran. And when I read, the fake news talking about how well Iran's doing, they're not doing well at all. They're getting killed. I could take out Iran in one day. I could take down in 1 hour. I could have their entire energy, everything, every one of their plants, their electric generating plants, which is a big deal. And I hate to do it because if I do it, it takes you 10 years to rebuild. They'll never be able to rebuild it. And the other thing you take out are the bridges. I took out one just to show them because they went public with a statement that wasn't true. They admitted it.
They were like, you can't take out our bridges. And I was like, oh, really? Look at that one. Kaboom. I told you. I
say, I'm going to take out a bridge. And I took out a bridge.
God damn.
And that was the end of that. Now they've been
awesome.
really
Then you
behaving.
have all the leftoids crying about it. No, how can you take down a bridge being used for military? I don't believe it.
At any country.
Oh, dude, this is huge.
You said the other day that any country that supports Iran and sends military equipment to Iran will face a 50% tariff if they try to bring products. Did you refer to China? Did you mean China?
Yes.
Yes, and other people, but yes, China too. If we find that China, because I hear news reports, so a news report.
We're at fucking war. Cry about it, bitches.
But doesn't mean much to me because they're so fake. But I hear news reports about China giving the shoulder missiles, what's called a shoulder missile, anti-aircraft missile. I doubt they would do that because I have a relationship, and I think they wouldn't do that. But maybe they did a little bit at the beginning, but I don't think they would anymore. No. But if we catch them doing that, they get a 50% tariff, which is that's a staggering amount.
You said the other
Dude,
day
that is so based, man. It really is. Just like absolutely shut this whole charade down. And people could bitch and cry about international law and whatever the fuck. And oh my God, dude, it is over, bro. It's over. It's over. We're done with this garbage. Now, what's absolutely insane is Iran is absolutely stunned that Trump actually is blockading the Strait of Hormuz. All right, and it's become very, very apparent that these guys are getting absolutely stomped, not only militarily, but strategically on every step of the way.
We've got Trey Yinks with us now from Tel Aviv. So, Trey, what can you tell us about this Truth Social post that Trump just posted?
Look, this is a significant announcement by President Trump, and once again, an indication that the United States holds the cards here. The president is the decision maker.
That's right.
Even as it relates to the Strait.
And then you see like these absolute retards being like, but Donald Trump didn't come to negotiate. He came to dictate. Yes, that is correct. That's what happens when we win a war. All right. I'm really tired of like this pussyfooting around bullshit. When we win wars, we set the terms. That's just how it works. Now, if you don't like it, you could cry about it, but that is exactly how it works. And now you can scream international law, which doesn't exist, and it's fake and gay. All right, you could cry about it, but the reality is that that's not going to change.
Of Hormuz. And we heard just yesterday as these two Navy destroyers passed through the strait, threats from the Iranians claiming that they would fire on these vessels. And the president is very clear here in his post on Truth Social. This will not be tolerated. Threats or strikes against U.S. forces or vessels in the
region. Of course, there's a ceasefire. You can't strike our ships.
Region.
And if you do, you're going to die. Yeah, you're going to die very efficiently.
Have consequences. And so once again, the president is showing who is in charge, not just at the negotiating table, but on the battlefield. And
and he's doing it in such a crazy way too, right? You'd think that there's a ceasefire, and during a ceasefire, you can't show military dominance, but like, but he just did. He's just like, we're just going to go through the Strait of Hormuz, like the epic chokehold, the trump card that Iran always had, the trump card of, hey, we can commit acts of terror and just bomb random people in the Strait of Hormuz. We can control that. We can choke the entire world's energy. And then you have Trump being like, actually, fuck you. Not only can you not do that, but we're going to blockade you from making any money through oil ever. Now, starve and die, motherfuckers. Want to make a deal?
Talk about the Iranian Navy and what is left of it. There was a systematic campaign by the United States and Israel over the past 40 days when Operation Epic Fury was ongoing that showed the Iranian Navy had no way to defend its own vessels, whether it was the mine-laying vessels or even these larger ships. Most of them are at the bottom of the sea at this point, and that is a result of the heavy U.S. strikes that were ordered by President Trump and executed by U.S. Central Command. And so with this decision to order a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, the president is once again showing the Iranians if they are unwilling to make concessions at the negotiating table, the president will force them into those concessions on the battlefield.
And, of course, take away all the money that they're making
by
letting those ships, the ships that they're letting, that have paid the toll, pass through. In his Truth Social, he writes that I have also instructed our Navy to seek and interdict every vessel in international waters that has paid a toll to Iran. No one who pays an illegal toll will have safe passage on the high seas. So that's going to be controversial with a Chinese or Pakistani flagged ship.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be controversial. And what are they going to do? Write a strongly worded tweet?
That Iran has allowed through.
This is why international law is fake and gay, because ultimately we are international law. We are the most powerful military by far, and there's really nothing you can do about it. What are you gonna do? You're gonna write a strongly worded letter? Like let's just be honest with ourselves.
What's the
It's gonna piss off Pakistan. Okay, so Pakistan could fucking cry about it. All right, we'll see if that solves it.
reaction in the international community going to be to that?
Look, there may be some people who are critical of President Trump, but the president rightly pointed out that these countries did not participate in helping to open the Strait of Hormuz during Operation Epic Fury. We've heard a lot of comments from European.
Well, France is going to be like, no, Mr. President, no, Mr. Trump, you cannot put a blockade on the Strait of Hormuz. But what about this? Fuck yourself, France. We didn't give a shit. That's the response. We don't actually care. Sorry, France. The people of France, I'm sure they're wonderful people. Oui, baguette, and, you know, they love that stuff. That's awesome. Sure, absolutely. I actually speak French even. It's not my greatest weakness, but it's one of them. And the reality is, you didn't help, and now it's going to suck for you. And you could cry about it. Yep, that's how it works. We're fighting a war, an existential threat against us. We're trying to obliterate. And if unfortunately, because they commit acts of terror, it's going to make it harder for you a little bit. Because you refuse to get involved and help us out, which you should have, but you're pussies. That's an L. That's just a France L. Sorry about that.
Officials who say that the president should make different decisions or that they're trying to put pressure on the operation. The reality is you have countries like France, for example, who have come out in opposition of what the president is saying.
What a fantastic example you picked.
But they're not helping to open the Strait of Hormuz, but they benefit when it is open. And so it raises these important questions about if countries around the world who benefit from the strait being open are going to participate in securing the strait. That's exactly what the president has pointed out with NATO and other countries around the world, understanding that the United States just uses a few percentage points of its oil through this international war.
Just objectively correct. All right. So if you refuse to help us open it when terrorists were bombing ships there, then who are you to say literally anything when we make and implement strategies to win a war? All right. Now, of course, Iranian officials are freaking out that J.D. Vance failed to gain the trust of Iran, which is hilarious because we don't need your trust. We don't actually care.
Meantime, Israel is launching new attacks in Lebanon. Senior correspondent Mike Tobin live in Tel Aviv with the latest from that venue. Mike.
And Kevin, the Israeli cabinet is now meeting. Of course, the security concerns are at the very top of their agenda. But to this point, we haven't heard any official reaction from the Israelis following the president's announcement about a naval blockade. But as he spoke with Maria Bartiromo this morning, the president explained some of how this blockade will work.
We're putting on a complete...
Right, which I've already shown you.
That's the good news. The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement, and I think that's bad news for Iran much more than it's bad news for the United States of America.
Now, the lead negotiator for Iran, Mohammad Ghalibaf, posted his take. The opposing side, he wrote, ultimately failed to gain the trust of the Iranian delegation.
Oh, well, too bad. Anyway, we're going to continue blowing you up now until you see things differently. Oh, we don't care. We don't care about your trust. That's what happens when you lose a war.
In this round of negotiations, indicating that there may be another.
Still, he wants there to be another, because if we're not doing more negotiations, we're going to get back to bombing. Now, and everyone knows that. So the reality is, we don't need your trust. We don't care if you trust us or not. We have completely dominated you. So you have two options. You either capitulate to literally fucking anything, or you die. When you're a terrorist regime that's been attacking and killing thousands of Americans, trying to assassinate Donald Trump multiple times at the President of the United States, promising death and destruction upon us, and trying to develop nuclear weapons to directly use on us eventually, you don't get to dictate terms after you lose a war. And that's going to become very obvious to you. So no, you don't need to trust us, actually. That doesn't matter. You're already existing because of your faith in us. And the only reason why Iran is still a country is because of American benevolence. We could drop a nuke on you, and we're not doing that. You're welcome. Now, of course, Iran, actual terror state that's been bombing ships in the Strait of Hormuz, laying mines and all that shit, killed 1 million Iranians since 1979, murders critics of the regime, denies women basic rights, bankrolls global Islamic terrorism, allows child marriage and child rape. The UN puts them in charge of human rights, women's rights, and anti-terrorism policy. Just understand exactly how absolutely fucking raped we are by being part of these globo homo organizations. And that shit, that's coming to an end.